From the studios in Florida, it's League to Nutz headquarters, and it's time for This Week in League to Nutz with your host, Matt, the Commissioner, Nutz Levine. All right, and welcome to This Week in League to Nutz. Happy to be aboard with you as we get ready for Week 4. Hard to believe, just about a quarter of the season, almost, in the books in the National Football League and, of course, in League to Nutz. I am the Commissioner, Matt Levine, your host for This Week in League to Nutz. I'm going to keep it short, maybe not short. We're going to keep it simple, maybe not simple, but we're going to have some fun. Didn't go heavy on the bells and whistles. Been meaning to. Last year I said I'd get an A-list. I had to bring it up. Get an A-list guest, or I would do the Latin Hustle. You didn't get either. Promises made to be broken. I guess I owe you an A-list guest and some bells and whistles. Got some cool things we'll add. If not, my wit, my charm, my humor will win you over. What else are you going to do tonight? Keldar Polk, Bachelor in Paradise, American Pickers. I don't even know what else is on. I'm so stuck in the day that I remember, I think Thursday night actually, was Family Ties, Cheers. I'm not watching a hell of a lot of TV right now, but I am watching a lot of football. So let's get right into it. What a busy week 3. Now, there was a demand made by a rookie to read the score. I saw the email. Somewhere there was an implication by one of the two rookie teams in this league that his score should go first because his team is the last of the Mohegans, so to speak, the last of the undefeateds. And you know what? Hey, rookie, get to the back of the bus because that's how we do things in League to Nutz. That's how we've been rolling. He didn't know. I like the cojones, though. Telling people where he stands. Last year, we had Lights Kamara action. Came in from week 1, talking smack all over the joint. Wins the league. Arkansas Joe / Ozone. Now 3-0, so you get your score first. Well deserved. The last of the Mohegans again. 2 steps his way past Parsec Ford Quad Keldar. Almost as eloquent as saying William Jefferson Clinton. No, I did not inhale. That's okay. But Ozone takes out Keldar. Keldar 1 and 2. Struggling a bit. Again, Ozone perfect. How about that? First in the Shoreham Drive division. Shoreham Drive East for all you out there. And that is on that beautiful continent. I'm just kidding. A beautiful island known as Long Island. For all yous out there. So congratulations. Taking out a former champ, the 2017 champ, 163-141. Actually taking out a former 2-time champ. You know, I said the word 2-step, right? I bet, I don't know this, I bet Ozone has 2-stepped in his life. Guarantee you. He's javelina hunted. I told you about the roll taco addiction he has, if around the Filibertos, but I know he has 2-stepped. I'd even bet he's got a cowboy hat and boots. One of the two. What's the name in Arizona of the place? Shepler's? My man's been to Shepler's. I think that's the name of the cowboy store. Anyway, let's move on. Keldar. The problem here. Juju came alive. Okay, 23 points. Good to see Juju alive and well. A little bit of a quarterback problem. I mentioned it last week. You got a quarterback carousel with Lamar Jackson and Jameis Winston. Which guy do you get which Sunday? Which do you start? The Jekyll, the Hyde, the good, the bad, ugly. Jackson started, got 22. Winston's on the bench, goes crazy against the Giants, and particularly in the first half, 36. The downfall really for Keldar, Mark Andrews, the tight end. 3 receptions, 15 yards. First 2 weeks of the season, over 100 yards receiving. The guy was money. I think the week before last he had 30 plus, 33 or 37. I looked it up but forgot. Anyway, you get a little bit more of what Mark Andrews was giving you. Like I said last week, a little bit more than half, más o menos, and you probably pick up the win last week, but instead you lose by 22. So Keldar goes back to the drawing board. Oh, zone. Way to go. Big day for him. Last week was week 3, so I will highlight the big 3 for every team. The initial big 3 I think of in all sports, probably the ugliest front court. Who am I to judge? 80 Celtics, McHale, Bird, Parrish. Sprinkling in basketball, sprinkling in rolled tacos. What's next? Mahomes, 37. Kamara, 36. Cooper Kupp, 26. Wow. You do the math, that's 99 of 163. Gives you about 72% of all the points. I did use a calculator. Told you about Mahomes last week. He was perfect throughout the year. Continues. 10 touchdown passes, no interceptions. 72% of his passes. Mahomes going crazy. Keldar, that dude, Juju, Jackson Winston deal. Andrews highlighted it. Enough said. Keldar will hope to 2-step back in the win column next week. Let's advance. I learned my lesson about throwing the paper on the floor. 178, 151. Yours truly. Take a bow. Thank you, thank you. By the way, don't get me tempted because we do have the bug out cam if need be. I take a bow, I get stupid. 178, 151. I'm 2-1 on the season. The Nutztown Destroyers over the Yonkers Shotgunners, who are now 1-2. How'd I get it done? My big 3. You betcha. 46 for Ingram. 55 for Keenan Allen. A beast. Adam Thielen showed up with a nice 20. Ingram. This is a day for the ages. Well, it's a day that you'd want every Sunday from your running back in League to Nuts. More of that. 16 rushes, 103, 3 touchdowns, 4 catches, 32. Keenan Allen. I'll take this every day of the week and then some, and I'll have my own Nuts Cup to display. Oh, please, fantasy gods, please. 55, 13, 183, 2 touchdowns. For this season, 29 receptions, 404 on the yards, 3 scores in all. Not too shabby. I did leave 39 on the bench with Sterling Shepard, and I do have a problem. I'll talk about more about it later with my man Saquon, the curse of the number 1. High ankle sprain, how long? Anyway, I get the victory. I'm in first place in the Haganah. You don't know what the Haganah is? Google it. You don't know how to Google? You don't have a computer? Go to the library. Look at those badasses right there. Long live the Haganah. Okay. We move on. Skills that kills. Zapped. Loopy. 212, 111. Loop gets the Meltsy. Forgot to add my Meltsy graphic. I told you. I was kind of rushing to put things together a little bit. But bells and whistles are coming. Latin Hustle 2. Talk about 2. 2 slices. 2 slices. What movie? Okay. Cooper Kupp for skills. His big 3. 46. Marvin Jones, 34. Brady, 29. 2 touchdowns, 300 yards, plus shredding the Jets. So great day there, especially Jones and Cooper, who had 11 catches, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. Marvin Jones, 9 for 101 and 1 touchdown. Excuse me, my bumble is ringing. So great day there by Skills with the victory. 212 to 111. Just mailed it in. As he goes on to the win. And I want to see something here. Got to write down the records. So if I do this, that means I'm going to ESPN. And I'm looking at the standings, and you're looking how ugly I look when I look at the computer. So everyone wins. Skills That Kills, 2-1 on the season, and Loopster is now 1-2 with that victory in week 3. Again, 212 to 111. Wow. Okay. Good job there. Dingstown. They slid. Oops, I'm on the wrong camera. Okay, let's go back to that. There we go. That's called producing on the fly. Dingstown slides past Pop, Drop, and Locket. Shoreham Drive East representing here. 198-192 closest. No, not the closest game. Second closest game of the week. I'll tell you about the closest game of the week in just a minute. Big 3. Don't get better in this one. 64% of the points scored between Mike Evans, 57. Julio, 38. Cooks on the Rams, 32. Evans, just fabulous. 3 touchdowns in the first half. Almost hit that 200-yard bonus. 8 catches, 190 yards to go along with the hat trick. Meanwhile, for Pop, Drop, and Locket, Dingstown 2-1. They're now 0-3, the defending champions in a Nutz Cup hangover. Go with the double tight ends. Talked about that last week. You go with Ertz and Olsen. They get 35 points between them. 10 of those, surprisingly, belong to Ertz. But you left Marquise Valdez-Scantling on the bench, who had 23 points. What's that mean? Maybe not the 2 tight ends, and you go with Aaron Rodgers, one of his new BFFs. You get a W. That 2 tight ends will come back to haunt you almost every time. So good win there by Dingstown, 2017 champion. Smash U drops Polk High School, 133-115. What went wrong for Polk? Well, we'll talk about it in a moment. He didn't win. Smash U gets first dibs on what went right. Diss of the week, Polk. Take that, and we'll Bundy it. Josh Allen, 22. Odell, 22. Adams and Eckler make up a big 3.5. Each of them 19 points, respectively. Partisan effort for Smash U. Good enough to improve to 2-1. Same record with the loss for Polk High School, who's first in the Furley Roper. More on that in a moment. Here's what went wrong. Calvin Ridley, 1 point. Ouch. Emmanuel Sanders, 3 points. Only Dak cracked 20 or more in the starting lineup. 25 points. Really couldn't go to the bench. Can't blame that. Left 1 player on the bench with 20 points, and that's a kid on the Chiefs who looks like he's up to some good things. That's Hardman, the wide receiver, who had 22 points. So for Polk High School, yes, it is back to the drawing board. As for Furley Roper, argument to be made, yes, but I think it's a lot of points. First off, I mean, Furley gets the leisure suit. Don Knotts is weird. Furley was weird. But Roper wins. Firmer in his convictions, not goofy. And he had Mrs. Roper. So you kind of got 2-1. Furley was by himself. Who the hell knows what he was doing in that apartment complex when he wasn't trying to fix things. And Roper, for all intents and purposes, both of them cheap bastards. Roper, a lot better of a fix-it man. So I'll give Roper the nod, hands down. Anyway, Last game to talk about this week. The closest game, as I said. There was one other. 132 to 131. No friggin' luck. You earned your name. AB's painted helmet gets the W. 1-2. Same record as no friggin' luck. What happened with no friggin' luck? Well, NFL didn't score enough points. In the end, I'm going to look to the defensive player. ABs, they had the friggin' luck. Watson, 36 points for the Texans. Love that quarterback. Marlon Mack, a guy who kind of shows up, lunch pail guy, every week, 16 points. And the receiver, Terry McLaurin, I think I'm saying the name right, the guy on the Redskins out of nowhere, 8 catches, 8 catches for 70 yards, a score, 19 points. But Khalil Mack, the difference. Return of the Mack. 9 points. 2 forced fumbles, 2 sacks, 3 solo tackles. Who's a defensive player for the NFL? No friggin' luck. Bubba Baker, safety in Arizona. Now, Mack and Baker, on paper, equal. 6 points a game, they both average. But Baker only scores 3. The nod to the defensive player in that one. You can slice it, dice it any way you can. I just love getting defensive guys in there when it comes to a 1-point win of being the difference makers. Good matchup there. Great matchup. Let's move on. Okay. Before we get to previewing the matchups here for week 4, of course, the money request. I haven't seen anything come in. Got my money in there. One payment in there, that's 2 of 12. Pay up. So do the PayPal, mail me the money, come deliver a bag of pennies. I'll buy you a cold one, slice of pizza, although the pizza down here sucks. Whatever, just get the money in. And don't forget, the bye weeks start this week. And things are going to get weird as we enter again week 4. So let's go through it here on this week in League the Nutz. We are live streaming on the World Wide Web. Indeed. Okay, first matchup here. It's a projected score of 139 to 128. I've been doing this show for now 2 years, and I always look at the matchups, right? We all do for 11 years. You know, on ESPN, I can't find the line anymore. So I make my own line. It's plus 11. I am an underdog to AB's painted helmet. Look at the quarterbacks in this one. Baker against Watson. Baker's been a disappointment. 28 points for Watson a game, half of that for Baker, 14 points on the season. What happens here? I think Baker's going to... Whoa. That's weird. Okay. I think Baker's going to show up and have a big day. He's due. That team's weird. I'm not surprised that they got off to a 1-2 start. Watson, as I said, he's multi-dimensional, versatile, averages 28 points. Great matchup there in the quarterbacks. Really is. You got one guy who's been a steady Eddie, dynamic against a guy who's supposed to be dynamic, and his mouth has written checks he can't cover on the field. That said, you've got some powerful running backs here for a 1-2 team with AB's painted helmet. Guys that combined average 40 points a game, and Mack, Carson, Connor. If you've been hurt in an injury, give us a call. Meanwhile, the receivers, I've said partisan. I love using that word. Never used it before until this week in League the Nutz Season 2. I mentioned the dude from McLaurin from the Redskins. You got Metcalf, the rook. In Seattle, you got Landry as your receivers. So you need 1 or 2 of those guys just to step up, just in case the running backs don't get going. I think you have a good balance here, and I talked about balance last week, right, Danielson? Anyway, in addition to Baker, I've got a situation. No, I'm not talking about that one. By the way, JWoww is in love. That's off the hook. Anyway, I've got Jordan Howard stepping in for Saquon Barkley. Told you, the curse of the number one. I was all happy with that spaghetti pot. Should put up the video. Oh, I got the number one. I'm in shock. Well, my number one's on the injured list. But Keldar agrees with this. You believe that Saquon has what you call magic healing powers, and he will come back quicker than expected. Who knows? 4 to 6 weeks at the minimum. Having second opinions. Didn't look up the updates as I did this afternoon, so I don't know if there's any new news on that, but I got Howard off the scrap heap. I've got Melvin Gordon, who's going to come back but not play this week. So I've got, again, a situation at running back taking on these big three, but I've got some great receivers. Mentioned Keenan. Loved having DeAndre Hopkins last year. Year before I had Keenan. Couldn't get Hopkins, but I was able to get Keenan back. He is an absolute beast. That guy's great. In addition to Keenan, I boast a talented wide receivers corp that could get the job done on Sunday. Told you, Shepard. Benched him last week. He's going to come back into the mix. We know Daniel Jones can play. Hollywood Brown, quiet last week, but he's explosive on the Ravens any given Sunday with the rookie. Sean Jackson is banged up. I've got receivers that can get the job done in addition to Ingram, who was just great last week. So me being a plus 11 underdog to AB's helmet, not only am I going to cover, I'm going to win. Number one right now, first place in the Haganah. I'm going to keep it that way. I'm going to stay in first. I'm going 3-1. Another member of the Haganah will take on No Friggin' Luck. That's Yonkers, who's 1-2. No Friggin', NFL. Highlighted them in my last summary of last week's game. 1-2. Here's where the bye comes to hurt No Friggin' Luck's team. No Jimmy G. So no Le'Veon Bell. But for Jimmy G, because I believe he's got Breeze who's hurt, you've got to put in Mitch Trubisky, who's Mitch Trouble. What are you going to get? You don't know. He's against Minnie on Sunday at home. So you've got a quarterback situation there with Aaron Rodgers, potentially, or Minshew, right? Minshew, the kid for Jacksonville who has played well, but his mustache has taken on more of a life of itself, I think, than his game on the gridiron. So you look at the quarterback matchup here, and you've got Yonkers as a 3-point favorite. Oh, hold on, let me check that. This means I can't read my own writing. Yonkers. Oh, by the way, it was Yonkers' birthday, everyone. And I kicked the piss out of him on his birthday. But happy birthdays to Yonkers. Big day for him. Yonkers is a 31-point favorite heading into Sunday. I can write the number one, legibly enough. It's a big favorite, big points to be ahead as a favorite. With that said, I think No Friggin' Luck gets some luck. For somehow, some way, I think they get the win on Sunday and cover the 31-point spread. Why not? Yonkers, you had your birthday. You had your cake. You ate it too. Now it's time for the rookie to show you the back of the bus. Polk High School, 5-point favorite going into a game against Keldar. Love this one. Always some juice to this one. Two-time champions, former ones at that, will square off. You've got matchups galore in this one. You got the question again. Do you play Lamar Jackson against Cleveland or Winston at the Rams in Los Angeles? At quarterback, Keldar. That's your decision. You've got Juju, who you know is going to show up with, 23 last week. Then you've got some questions at wide receiver for Keldar with Diggs, Kurt Samuel, Nelly Aguilar on the Nelson Aguilar on the what do you call it? Philadelphia Eagles. There's a great video. I was just thinking of the video. I got distracted by the video. If you haven't seen it yet, I sent Keldar the video. It's a guy on Sunday night who was a hero in Philadelphia catching babies. Literally caught babies. There was a fire, an inferno, and the babies were being passed and then tossed to this civilian on the street, and he was catching them. And the news reporter asked him, about it, and he said, "At least I catch it." Unlike Aguilar, great clip. Go Google it. Anyway, you've got question marks at the receiver, at the quarterback, running back. Interesting. Because you got Chubb, who, by the way, last week, I think he had 16 points. Chubb or Schlub? Again, Chubb. He's not a schlub. Every week the guy shows up. I'm not even going to play it anymore. He's that good. You got Chubb, who's going to go against Johnson from the Lions, one of the big running backs for Polk. And then you got some question marks at wide receiver for Polk because you've got Teddy Bridgewater now throwing to Michael Thomas and not Drew Brees. No Kittle. The bye plays a factor here. So an interesting matchup. I think it's going to be close. I think Polk wins by 1. Keldar covers the 3 points. How about that? Loopies and Dings. 6-point underdog. Dingalings to Loop. Loop a 2-time champ. Dings again a champion. Projected score in this one is 148-142. Quarterbacks, love the matchup. Brissett, Stafford. Brissett at Oakland. Or he's home, to the Raiders, who will be the Las Vegas Raiders next year. Stafford against KC in Motown. Both guys 23 points per game. The pendulum will swing on the QB this week. Wide receivers, good ones here. Hopkins, Godwin, Golladay. Talk about big three against for Loopy, against Dings's Julio, Cooks, Evans trio. Wow. Who do I like in this one? I think Dings covers. I think Stafford has a bigger day in a shootout against KC, believe it or not, than Brissett against Oakland. So I'll take Dings to cover the 6 as a dog and win. Pop, drop, lock it. Can't lock up a win. 0-3. Skills that kills 2-1. Great receivers for Pop. Gordon, Edelman, Lockett. You got the tight end combo. I told you if he goes 2 tight ends. Olsen Ertz hasn't translated to a win. Skills that kills is very crafty. You got Larry Fitz. How about him? 18 receptions. Never, ever gets old. One of those guys. A rarity. Kelsey, Cooper Kupp, Marvin Jones. Receivers all over the lot for skills that kills. It is a 15-point underdog for Pop, Drop, Lockett. Looking for that first win. I think they get it and cover this weekend for the victory. Last matchup. Smash U taking on O-Zone. And you get yourself Luca Brasi. The Luca Brasi representing in this one. Look at Luca there. Projected total is 159-150. Smash is a 9-point favorite. I won't do it to you. Make you look at Luca too much longer. Can't do it. 9-point favorite. 3-0, 2-1. The rookie, undefeated with that big 3. Keep talking about it for good reason. Mahomes, 39.6 a game. Kamara, Cooper. You got some old-ass running backs here, too. Sean McCoy, Frank Gore. Energizer Bunnies. Smash. quarterback situation. If you can put together Mason Rudolph and Allen's points, maybe you can start 2 quarterbacks to the one of Mahomes. You got a chance to score 2/3 of what Mahomes will do. You got a problem there, quarterback. We all do, facing Mahomes. You got Eckler and Josh Jacobs, crafty running backs. You're hoping for big days. Fingers crossed. Use the emoji all week, Smash. You need it. Of course, you got Odell. And you got to hope he goes bananas. The day that Keenan Allen had for me last week with 55 points, that's what you need from Odell. One of those days. He's had one this year, the week before last against the Jets. You need another one. Allen Robinson's another one of these guys. Boom or bust. You need him to go 4 for 4 at the plate. He's at Minnesota. Could be a shootout. Depends how well Trubisky plays. Then you got a situation, yes you do. Yes you do. McDonald at tight end, who's hurt. You got him at tight end, and who the heck's his other tight end? I'm going to make you look at Luca Brasi or me. I don't know which is worse. Got the situation here with Smash and his tight end, because I know McDonald's hurt, but who's the other dude? I thought I wrote it down. And of course, ESPN, when you want to look, they have to do the 30-second commercial. So that's what you get with the advertisements. And by the way, the ESPN app, or the app on the phone and on the PC, it sucks this year. Yeah, McDonald, and that's right. He's got Darren Waller. That's right, the rookie from, I wrote down Hard Knocks on my notes. I forgot. The rookie from the Hard Knock show with the Raiders this year, which Antonio Brown ruined. But Waller was featured, and he looked great in Hard Knocks. He hasn't looked that great thus far as a starting tight end in the NFL. So you need him to fill in nicely if McDonald can't go. Whenever you have a Raider on your roster, it's always a question mark. Anyway, that's our matchups in Week 6. I'm looking forward to it. We did a lot. From Furley to Roper. Covered Week 3. Let's just say Week 6. Week 4 is ahead of us. And you just hit that point right now where you start really knowing. I talked about this last week and the week before. You start really getting an identity of what you've got in Week 4. And weird things with the roster come into fruition. I mean, do you keep an Antonio Brown on your roster, Yonkers? Is Melvin Gordon going to come back sooner than later? You know? You get guys who are hurt, and now they're afterthoughts. Mason Rudolph was smash. You got that quarterback deal. Ben's gone. You might have to rely on him. Daniel Jones. Skills that kills. He was awesome last week. Will he keep it up? So there's situations and question marks all over the place and throughout our league as we head into the quarter mark of the NFL season and Week 4 of our 14-week season in League to Nutz. So everyone, gear up for Week 4. Remember the bye week. Remember to get your payments in. Start your best lineups. Knock on wood, or as Gruden would say, knock on wood if you're with me. Actually, I'm knocking on glass. Have a great Week 4. Enjoy the game tomorrow night. Enjoy the games on Sunday into next Monday. And I'll catch you back here next Wednesday night on This Week in League de Nutz. Adios.